I'm Michael Dangermond, product engineer here at ESRI on the Living Atlas team. I produce image layers that you can use in analysis. Today I'm going to show you around a new image layer we're serving in the Living Atlas of the world, a soil layer put out by the U.S. Department of Agriculture for the United States called the SSURGO Non-Irrigated Capability class. We're going to do some analysis with the layer, then we will create a web layer from it with a little bit of arcade and pop-ups. It will take about 30 minutes. This video is for beginners on up to those who have some expertise in GIS. And you will need an ArcGIS Pro, you will need that. You'll need Spatial Analyst and an ArcGIS Online account to go and follow along and do everything I'm doing through the whole video. If you don't have all of these products, you can follow along and do parts your organization has the licenses for. So what is non-irrigated capability? The U.S. Department of Agriculture has classified the soils in the United States in 8 different classes based upon what its capability is for practical use in agriculture. So we have everything from Class 1, which is slight limitations, which means that plants just grow in these areas without having to do much for them. As you go down in classes to 2 and 3, there are limitations. Sometimes you can only grow certain crops and not other ones, or that you need to have treatments in the soil before you get started, down to level 4, where you have to be really careful about cultivating on these soils to make them productive over time. Once you get down into 5, 6, and 7, the limitations increase, and so you may be using these lands for things like forestry or grazing, but not growing crops. And then you go down to Class 8. These are areas that are like hardscape urban areas, rock outcrops, things like that, where even grazing is difficult and don't have much practical use for agriculture. So the USDA recommends that these areas are used in recreation, wildlife, and water supply. So it's a way of characterizing the lands of in the United States by its capability to support agriculture for farming. So here's the class right here. You find it in the Living Atlas, SSURGO Non-Irrigated Capability class. And there's an irrigated version as well. And here in the guide, it tells you what comes up in the service. You have a capability class and subclass. Subclass gives reasons why something gets a particular class and maybe doesn't have a better one. So now we're zooming into the state of Missouri, and this is where I'd like to create a web map that shows every county in Missouri and characterizes each county by the amount of each types of lands that it has. So here along the Missouri River, this is a floodplain with some rich soils. So these end up being in the Class 2. Of course, the subclass W says that maybe excess water could be a problem. And this again is the capability without irrigation. Over here is the city of St. Louis. A lot of times urban areas are given Class 8, even though you can probably grow things just fine if you happen to live in that area. But it just means you're not in that particular class. Okay, so first thing, let's open ArcGIS Pro. I'm using version 2.7.2 here. And what I would like to do is start a new map and project and add some layers to the Living Atlas so I can show you. First I'm going to add the counties in Missouri, and so how we do that, we go to let's go to the Add Data tab here under the Map tab, Add Data, and here in the Living Atlas we can type USA counties. I happen to know that's the name of the Living Atlas service, but if you browsed on counties you would find that would come up just fine. And I'm going to add that to my map. And you can see it zooms out to the whole world, and that's because there's parts of the United States such as Guam and the Aleutian Islands and things like that that are also in the extent. But what we're really interested in is the state of Missouri. So to do that, let's only show the counties of Missouri right here. So what I did here was I right-clicked, I chose Properties and Definition Query, and then I can apply a query to the whole USA counties layer so that we're only showing the counties of Missouri by completing the statement. State name is equal to Missouri, and apply, and OK. And now what we've done, we've taken a service that's in the Living Atlas, or a layer, I mean. It's more than a service. And what you do is you apply a query to it. So I haven't downloaded anything except for this Living Atlas layer that's in here. And so now I have USA counties. I also changed the symbols on it here. And we can see that's Osage County and Gasconade County. I'm not sure if it's pronounced the French way. I think I've been to that county before, but okay, but I don't know how to pronounce the county name. Anyway, so now we have the counties in Missouri, and let's go to the Living Atlas again and add that image service that I showed you. That is the non-irrigated capability class. I'm just going to search on non-irrigated. Yeah, here it came up. And it's got the little symbol here for an image service. Now an image service is a image layer, rather, comes to you from image server, and it's a type of image layer that you can use in analysis as well. So it will make a nice map like you see here, but we can actually use the information that's in the image to make our map, characterizing how much area there is of each class in each county in Missouri. And the idea is that here I'm doing some economic analysis, and I want to know a little bit of the basis of the economy of Missouri by county, and we can see that the soil capabilities vary widely in the state. So here in the southeast we have some of the floodplains of the Mississippi River downstream from when it joins the Ohio, and so these have a greater capability for agriculture than these more thin soils that are in the Ozark Plateau and the center part of the state. And up here we get closer to what's associated with the Corn Belt, the deep soils that are richer. And some of these in Illinois are class 1s. You can see the deep greens in here. Anyway, let's do some analysis, because I want to find out how much of each of these categories there are in each county. So I happen to know that the tool that I want to use is one called Tabulate Area. So what this will do is it cross-tabulates. It sums up how many of each of these classes are in each of these counties. It takes a little while to run. Now before we get started, we are working in Web Mercator here, and as you know, a Mercator projection makes Greenland really big, and things near the equator don't have that exaggeration. So there's some distortion, and so if you're measuring area with this, you can count on the area not being equal across different latitudes. So what we'd like to do here is change the projection of the map and make sure that we do our analysis in that projection too. So what I did was I right-clicked the map here, and I'm choosing coordinate systems. And now I'm going to search for, let's use the Albers projection that USGS uses as an equal area projection. And so here I know it's under continental and North America, and there should be a 1983 NAD 83 contiguous USA Albers. That's great for the lower 48 states and District of Columbia. Now we have an equal area projection, and what we'll want to do here also is use an equal area projection on our analysis as well. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I clicked on the output coordinate system, and I've chosen it here by clicking on that world button, and that's how you bring up the different projections, and that's sort of cute. Let's search on Albers again, projected, continental, North America, and what do we have? NAD 83 contiguous USA Albers. Okay, now that that's set, we can be assured that we're using an equal area projection to do our analysis. Now the first thing it's asking for is the feature zone data, and for that I'm going to use USA counties because I want it by county. I want a summary of how many different how much area there is by type in each county. In the zone field, I'm going to use the county name. I want the results to be by name in each county in Missouri. The input raster is going to be the image service. So these are all services here. The counties, the image service, right out of the Living Atlas. I haven't downloaded anything. And the class field, now there's a few things to choose from. I'm going to use the class number, which is just an integer field that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the output table. I'll choose the default. And the processing cell size, I'm going to take it right from the layer, the image layer. And here in the Environments tab, we'll take a look at some settings here that we can make. First of all, here's the extent. Let's make it the same as the current display extent. That way we're not analyzing the whole world here. We'd be here forever. It takes a good amount of time anyway to process this, even by limiting it to just this area of the state. In fact, we could cut down the time a little bit more by squishing this in and getting just the state of Missouri in there, and then hitting that again. So extent, I'm going to say current display extent. The cell size, maximum of inputs is fine. I'm going to choose the layer though. These things aren't too critical in this analysis. And then I'm going to hit run, and this would be a good time to have a meeting or something, or have some lunch or run overnight, because this might take 20 minutes. So I'm just going to let this run and return when it's finished. You can see it's running here. Okay, and I'll take a break now, and then we are back. That only took 10 minutes to tabulate the area, and so now we have a new table here in the table of contents. Let's open it and see what's inside. So here we have every county in Missouri, and we have the area in square meters, which is a very large number, in class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now what we can do is make a web layer out of the counties with this table attached, and then build a pop-up that will give people a nice graph that shows what proportion of the county is in each of these different classes, and then you can see, you can characterize it that way. You can look at it in an online map. Okay, so to do that, let's look at the attribute table in the counties. What do we have here? We have the state name, county name, and so what we need to do is join the new table to the county name here. And then we will publish that as an online layer to our account. So make sure you're signed in. I'm here in the Living Atlas Team account. Okay, so let's join. We do an add join. USA Counties is the input table. The county name is the join field. And then the same here, the join table is the default that comes up, always handy, and the name, and we'll keep all the target features. Simple as that. Then we will join the attributes, and we can see the class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in square meters for each county in Missouri. If you don't want to make an online map, you can start with this. You at least have this, but I'm going to go to sharing and share as a web layer. Now, I'm trying to figure out why I can't do that right now. I think I need to make my own feature class first. So I'll just do that. I will go to data and export features, and here's my output location, and I'm going to say Missouri counties with non-irrigated classes. Okay, and here in the fields, we're good. We're going to have them all. Name 1, class 1, class 2, class 3. We don't need name 1. That's redundant. And we can output this to a feature class. It goes in the default geodatabase, and it comes up here on top. So let's make sure that it has all the fields we need, and that they're all populated. This all looks good. We even have the population per square mile here, in case we want to do some more with that. And we have class 1 through 8, and they're all filled out. Some of them have 0. Class 5 doesn't seem to be a big one in Missouri. There's a lot of counties without it. Okay, so let's share this. Yes, okay, share as a web layer. And it comes up in the sharing dialog on the right. Missouri counties with non-irrigated classes. For summary, area of each county in Missouri that is within each class of non-irrigated capability. And you can enter keywords to help people in your organization find the layer. For me now, I'm going to add one called test. That way I can find it and know that it's a test layer. And I could share with everyone or my team, but I can do that later. First, I'm going to analyze everything and make sure that we're ready to go. Let's see what comes up in the dialog. Datasets expose reserved field names. Oh no. we have shape underscore underscore area. Rename or remove this field. Shape underscore underscore length. Rename or remove this field. Okay, now I know what to do. So I'm going to remove these. Shape underscore underscore area. Now these are redundant anyway. We have two shape area fields on here. So I'll show you the other one. Where is it? At the end. Shape underscore length. And then shape underscore underscore length, and they have the same value. So let's delete this field and delete the other one. Yes, okay, now let's analyze again. No problems. Are we ready to publish? Yes, let's publish. And now it's going to package the layer and share it. It's consolidating data and staging web layer, uploading service definition. And it's going to turn on the service on the server. Should only take a moment. Can sort of clean up the view here while it's doing that, and so we should see a lot of class 1s, 2s, and 3s in this part of Missouri. Down here maybe 6, 7, 8s, and down here some 1s and 2s and 3s again. And we'll check that out in the online world. So we'll open a browser. Yeah, I'm weird and I use Firefox browser. Somebody's got to test these things. And oops, I went really quickly there, but it was at the top of the list in my content list. And here's my layer, Missouri counties with non-irrigated classes. I'm going to open the layer by clicking on its thumbnail. Now we have the counties. We have our own counties service. And oh, the default is what's it doing here? It's giving me some really funny. Let's set up a pop-up that gives us the name, county name. Let's say county name space county. Then let's not display a list of field attributes. I want to show a graphic. So what I'm going to do is show no attribute information. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add an expression. I'm going to show my graph as a percentage. So here I'm going to add an expression that says, okay, for the feature, oops, I'm going to click on this right arrow and then it will give me some options. So I have, it says whatever the feature is, or feature class 1 or 8 or something like that. What I'm interested in though is the shape area. So I'm going to take the shape area and I'm going to divide that by 100. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to normalize the graph so it outputs in percents. I don't want it to show the area in square meters. That's an enormous number that, you know, really it would be better off showing in scientific notation. You see what I mean here? See this value? What am I going to do with this? I'm really interested in the percent. So I'm setting up this custom expression. This is going to be area divided by 100. And so what this does is on the fly, it creates a new field out of another field with an arcade expression. And so what I'm going to do here in the pop-up media is make a column chart. I think that's the one I want. And it's going to say percent each class. I can always modify this later if it's not the prettiest thing to say right here. I'm going to include all of these classes, class 6, 7, 8. And the field alias, I'm going to put the Roman numeral here to be fancy. And here, class 2, class 3, and so on and so on. IV. Can you believe people used these numbers at one time to count? One time when I was in school, I added using Roman numbers, and was not the most efficient way to do math. No, class 7, VII, not VIII. Class VIII. Okay, that's great. Now, what we have a graph that says percent each class. Oops, no. And then what we're going to do is normalize by the area divided by 100. Hit OK and OK. What normalizing does is it's going to divide by the total area of each county, but that figure is already divided by 100. So if something is 67% class 1, it's going to say 67. It's not going to say 0.67. You see what I'm saying? Now you can see why I did that. Now look at this. Isn't that awesome? For Johnson County, we can see it's got lots of classes 2 and 3, and then a few class 6s, and we can even, if we want to be fancy, we can add, let's search for browse living atlas layers. That's what we want, and go to non-irrigated. Seems to be the key word to find this service. That's pretty easy. So now we can see the greens and everything underneath, and we click on here and we go, yeah, there is a lot of 2s and 3s in Pettis County. And let's go to some area where we have less soil capability in the Ozark Plateau. There's still some lands that are cultivable. Is that a word? Cultivatable? Here in Tawney County, we have class 7 and 8. And here in the Mississippi floodplain, looks like some really good soils here, continually enriched by the rivers. Some ones more 2s, 3s, and 4s, and then just a few that are questionable. So there you have it. We did some analysis, made a web map, and how many minutes have we taken? Maybe 30 minutes, and we have a really nice way to show the sort of basis, the economic basis of some of these counties by what's capable in these counties agriculturally. Editor's note. One thing you will want to do, which I didn't do in this demo, is to save your layer, and that saves your pop-ups in here. And to do that, click on the ... here, and click Save Layer, and it will save your pop-ups and everything to the layer, so that the next time it's dropped into a web map, your layer comes in with all of these pop-ups and everything you set up. So thank you for sticking with me, and I hope you learned something today. And be sure to keep watching our blogs for what's new in the Living Atlas. There's something new coming all the time for you guys. So thanks a lot, and for coming along with me, and I'll talk to you later. Maybe I'll see you at the conference. Thanks. Bye.